to the Journey Mindfulness Podcast, where we explore the expansion of consciousness, human experience, and the mysteries of life and human potential. I'm your host, James O'Neill, professional counselor, meditation teacher, and hypnotherapist. And today we have the pleasure or I have the pleasure of introducing you to Jacquelin Smith. Jacquelin is a captivating figure who embodies the connection between the earthly and the universe. And from a very young age, she's possessed the remarkable ability to communicate with star beings, interdimensional entities, as well as animals. She is an animal communicator, and I believe one of the first in the US, if I'm not mistaken. This innate talent has propelled her to international recognition as a star communicator, light linguist, and prolific author of several books. Her latest book, Star Being in the Mirror, which we'll talk about, My Journey as a Hybrid, delves into her lifelong encounters with these celestial beings. Jacquelin's narrative chronicles her experiences aboard starships, where she met her star parents, honed her psychic abilities, and expanded her own consciousness. These encounters also entrusted her with messages of hope for humanity. Beyond her interstellar adventures, Jacquelin is a passionate advocate for the concept of hybridization, which we'll talk more about. She herself identifies as having over 40 hybrid children, and her work emphasizes the significance of this program in human evolution. Jacquelin's unique perspective and experiences offer a glimpse into a world beyond our everyday reality. She inspires us to explore the depths of our own potential and foster a deeper connection with the universe and all of its inhabitants. Welcome, Jacquelin.
Thanks, James. It's a delight to be here today. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, it's a pleasure to have you. Um, where to begin? How did you become a hybrid for those that may not even understand that term?
Yeah, so I am what we might refer to as a human ET or star being hybrid. So my mother was taken aboard a starship when she was pregnant with me. And the star beings on the ship injected me with a cocktail of 7 different kinds of DNA from 7 different races. So I was genetically altered, and that's why I refer to myself as a hybrid. Not everyone is genetically altered who is taken on a ship. In the larger sense, we're all hybrids because we're all from the stars, and we have all kinds of different mixes within us.
Yeah, yeah. Were you shown that, or how did you come to be aware of those memories and that happening?
Yeah, I was shown that, and I was told that by, I call them my star parents, Zazu and Amita, who were my guardians on this ship. And when with being injected, and I just have those memories of all those experiences.
Yeah. How old were you when you learned that? Were you young?
Well, my memories have unfolded through the years, so
Okay.
it's been a really interesting journey. But at 3 years old, they started taking me on the ship,
Yeah.
and it was just absolutely wonderful. I loved being on the because it was unconditional love on the ship.
Yeah.
These star beings are evolved beings, and so I got to be it really was like, we could say, being in heaven because the energy was so loving, and then coming back to Earth was different.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be somewhat jarring to come back down. Uh, What are some of your experiences on the ship as a child?
Oh gosh, many experiences because I was on the starship, this one starship in particular with my star parents. They're tall white Zeta masters, not to be confused with the tall whites in Nevada that Charles Hall talks about.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I was in a group with seven other children. Some of them were from other countries. And so we could all communicate telepathically and understand each other. And we were guided by the star being in developing our innate talents and skills. So we would develop, create balls of light. We would play catch with these balls of light. And also we would think of an image like an animal, like a cat, and then project that onto a holographic screen they had on the ship. And they were teaching us how to develop our skills with that. And also we had an incredible experience where the star beings created, I guess I'll call it, um, subspace bubble of light, another dimension outside of the ship that all of us children were in. And so with the star beings, and they were teaching us about the other planets, the stars. They were teaching about all of the different frequencies, showing us Earth, and they were sharing with us how much they love Earth, that each of us have our own missions. So they were preparing us for our missions on Earth. So imagine being in the middle of space in just this transparent bubble.
Yeah. I'm
It was
imagining
amazing.
like a magic school bus, I think was a TV show, but you're in this magic bubble being transported to get, like this ultimate field trip to see the universe from a perspective that one can only imagine. And yet you got to experience that. That's fascinating.
It was amazing to see the stars and the planets from that perspective, like just floating in space. And we learned a great deal. They were teaching us all about, again, the frequencies because everything is frequency. So for my mission, they were preparing me, developing my clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, all the clairs, and preparing me to step into the role of communicating with animals telepathically, which I've done really my whole life. And it went underground for a little while. When I was really young, I said to my mother, I said, I can hear this tree singing. And she goes, trees don't sing. So some of my talents in that went underground for a while, but they've been taking me onto the ship since I was 3 years old, and in a pretty consistent way through my teens. So for me, it's home.
It feels very much at home for you
Very
person.
much home for me, and there was a wide variety of star beings on the ship, which I really loved because I learned how to speak all these different star languages.
Oh, there's multiple star languages?
Oh, many, many star languages that each race has their own star language.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, that's great fun, and I still speak all of those. And also, on the ship, there were symbols. I call them light language symbols.
Mhm.
Walls on the walls. Of course, on the ship, there really are no walls. It's all holographic. But the symbols the light codes would jump off and dance with me and move through my body. They were raising my frequency. And so light language, as we call it now, is now being spoken globally by many, many people because it is speaking light. It is speaking frequency and vibration. It is sacred geometry. So when I do light language sessions with people, it's amazing. It just cuts through everything. People release their patterns, old identities, past life issues, and get aligned with their authentic self and multidimensional selves as well.
So it is a way to move energy.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Their frequencies and the soul and the blueprint understand. Our cells understand. But what's so cool is that light language bypasses the mind ego.
Mm. So it gets through our
Our
that's
stuff, our patterns.
yeah, yeah. So you're on this ship, is it and there was multiple, other hybrid children and also multiple, extra dimensional races or beings on the ship as well? Like, it wasn't just the tall white Zetas?
Now, there are many beings, those who we refer to as Arcturians, Zetas, Mantis. Um, there were angels on the ship, celestial beings, plant-like beings, animal light beings on the ship. And so it was just like being raised by this community of star beings. That it was
Wow.
just pretty phenomenal. What an education, right?
Oh, I'm just imagining, in my earthly mind, this sort of new, Noah's Ark of life that's, educating itself and, preparing, you for this mission, which would you say is to bring a message of hope, or what was the ultimate mission with that?
Well, I have to like a bridge. I consider myself a bridge, so I can speak from the star being point of view as well as the human point of view.
Mm,
And so I did come in, being able to telepathically communicate with animals or any being really. It's just natural for me to be able to do that. And it's great fun. The mantis beings are always around my house interdimensionally. They're here all the time, which I love, and other beings as well. And I still visit the ship. What I loved um, on the ship was having the opportunity to interact with the hybrid children.
mhm.
And so
Yeah. Yeah, what can you tell us about that? What was that like?
yeah, it was it really beyond words amazing. When walking into a room of hybrid children, they were like all colors of the rainbow. And so depending on the races that they had taken DNA from and mixed either with human or other races, that would determine whether they have the black almond eyes or humanoid eyes. Um, some have silver eyes, yellow eyes. So there were many races involved, but I had the opportunity of getting all of us in our group would play with the hybrid children. There was a little girl, little hybrid named Azalon. I got to know her well. So she was teaching me how to enhance my telepathic skills because she had more ET in her than the human DNA. I was teaching her more about her human side. So, like little girls on Earth do. We would swing our arms together and hold hands and kind of play hide and seek. And so um, we were very close. And unfortunately, at one point, her body could no longer hold her spirit.
Mhm.
So she left in a very conscious way. And there was a ceremony, I was there, where I could see her spirit leave her body.
Mhm.
And it was just beautiful. The star beings on the ship, they love the hybrid children.
Yeah.
They have guardians who watch over them and teach them. So later on, when I had my hybrid children, Aslan reincarnated as one of my hybrid children who is now living, who was integrated into the earth level because as a child, she looked exactly like me when I used to visit her on the ship. And
Mhm.
they integrated her. She's now living in another country. She's a healer. We communicate telepathically.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
beautiful.
it's it's just a beautiful relationship.
Yeah.
So, and more hybrid children are being integrated into Earth because what's important is about the hybridization program is it's all about evolution.
Is that I know have you speak more about the hybridization program, but is that what Dolores Cannon talks about, the waves of volunteers? Like, is that part of
Yeah.
that?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Alright.
And
So
each generation that comes in is more and more evolved.
yeah, I
And
because I've heard people talk more like, I don't know if they call it indigo children, but just that the children that are
um,
coming in now are born with, they're very special. They have a lot of gifts, but,
they
yeah, I'll
do.
let you continue on about the hybridization program and why it's important.
Yeah, so but all the hybrid children on the ship, they have their missions. I wanted to mention that.
Okay.
Oh, with the hybridization program, they um are raised for a certain mission that they will love to do. And so, for example, in other star systems, then they go to other star systems to do their purpose. And so, like, I have a son who we could call him an intergalactic engineer, I guess. I don't have a better term, where he's working with the light grids in other,
Okay.
in other galaxies, like raising frequencies and creating sacred geometry and doing all kinds of amazing, wonderful things. But what's also important about that is he is teaching others about the human DNA part of him. So other races, star races, are learning more about humans because for them, we're the star people
Okay.
from their point of view, right?
Yeah, we're the outsiders, or we're not quite integrated yet, so just creating that
Yeah,
exposure.
we're other star beings. Yeah. So they have their purposes and they are very evolved and continue to evolve. So the intention is, like with me being a bridge here, with me being a hybrid, more hybrids coming in, the star children coming in, is to help humanity evolve.
It's really interesting that you talk about being a bridge because I was, messing around with AI when I was writing the intro for the show, and it described you as someone who bridges the gap
Oh, interesting.
between the earth and the celestial. So I it's very fascinating that you're using that terminology.
That really is. So I think it's very important in that sense for evolution, not only with Earth and on Earth, but in other star systems as well, because other star systems, other star beings, they're evolving just like we are.
Hmm.
It's always evolving, that never stops.
So is the hybridization, it's like upgrading us?
Yeah, that you could say that. Yeah, yeah. And what's so profound now is everything is being accelerated, all the energies coming, in that are showering Earth and us are shifting our DNA in an accelerated way. And it's opening our junk DNA, which is really not junk, and our star being um, genetics net are in the junk DNA. So many people now are developing their intuition more, becoming more clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. And a lot of star children are coming in. They know where they're from. They're awake. They come in and say, well, you know, I'm from Andromeda and I'm here to do da 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 da, help the environment. And I know that's my mission. And they're saying this at 6 years old.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
So our okay, because I do hear that like our DNA is being activated, like there's more, you know, I don't know. There's more to it, right? Like the 12 strand DNA or other latent things within us that are starting, it sounds like, to be put online.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, really unfolding, kind of like a flower. That's what we're doing.
Uh
And so I think it's really exciting because um, it's going to allow humanity to evolve and for humans to really fulfill their potential.
yeah.
And
So the hybridization program is that you're a part of and everything else is a big piece to all this.
it is. It allows us to continue to evolve. And now is an exciting time because again, everything is accelerated with all the planetary shifts going on, with astrology and that. It's just pretty mind blowing, the shifts that are happening. And, you know, we're
Yeah.
we're going through cellular changes, as well as other changes in our auras, in our chakra systems. Everything is shifting.
Have you noticed or are you experiencing symptoms related to that acceleration within the body, like in sort of adapting to maybe higher frequencies?
Yes, I think everyone pretty much
Okay.
is going through that. Like some people might feel very fatigued, might need more rest. It can affect the digestive system, the changes. So people
Hmm.
might think something's going on or something's really wrong, but it can be these shifts going on, although it's always wise to get checked out by a doctor. I mean, if one feels that they need to do that, people can feel dizzy, lightheaded, um, all kinds of changes, heart palpitations, I've heard.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of symptoms because our bodies are adjusting to these new frequencies of light that are coming in, all these new light codes.
Well, you're talking about this energy that, comes from the solar system into our Earth here and impacts us. Maybe this would be a good time to shift into sharing your experience that happened on Thanksgiving.
Oh my
And
gosh.
2013. I feel like this is all connected here, and being on a
Yeah,
mothership as well.
it is for me. Yeah. Oh gosh. I was contacted by the star beings beforehand. Um, and on Thanksgiving, like at midnight,
This
they
is
said,
like telepathically, you get this message.
correct, yeah. And they said, we want you to go outside. It's winter, there's snow on the ground. And I'm like, wow, okay. And so I go out and there's like 7 starships in the sky. And I'm going, this is amazing. And not long after that, this portal opens up over my house. A craft comes out of the portal and just zoom over my head, shines light in my eyes, and just keeps going. It was like quasi physical.
Mm,
And I'm going like, I feel like I'm in a movie, right? I mean, I saw this ship. I knew there were beings, and it was more of a craft, and it took off so fast. I'm going like, this is just crazy. And so I did call a friend on Thanksgiving to come over, and we started taking photographs because it was like a crop circle around my house. There were all kinds of symbols in the snow.
mm,
And not only that, the electromagnetic fields were just crazy. And my friend came over, she's a Reiki master, and she walks in my house, she goes, "Do you get what's going on here?" I'm going like, "Yeah, I'm in it." And so we walked around, took photos, and we kept running into each other because of the electromagnetic fields from the ship, the craft.
mhm.
So grass grew up overnight through the snow, about 4 or 5 inches. I show that photo in my book, and I took a photo of my neighbor's yard too, just to compare. He had no grass that grew up overnight. And I had a statue of an owl where there was an indentation where the molecular structure had actually changed.
Mm,
And I still have that, and I put all those photos in my book.
yeah,
It was just and a wire, I had a chicken wire out front that had been laid flat for years, and it was all curled up. All these things happened when that, um, craft went over, and so
yeah.
it it was amazing. And then a mothership, they came and said, "How would you like to go on the mothership?" And, they know me well enough, I would never turn that down. "I'm
Yeah.
Come get me, I'm here," "Just come." And so they told me to lay down. I looked out the window before that and saw a craft outside my window. It was like being in a movie. It
Yeah.
was just like I'm going like, "Oh my gosh." And then I ended up going on the mothership with a lot of other star beings there, and they, um, did a number of surgeries on me for different things. And I was conscious. Sometimes they will put up they call it a screen, a memory screen, so you don't remember. But I said, "Forget it. I'm see you guys. I know what you're doing." So
Yeah.
so they, um, I said, "Well, while you're at it, fix this, fix that, fix that." And so, on the ship, there were councils from many star systems, and I was one on the council. I was on the council there. And it was just incredible to see hundreds of different star beings. And number of them I knew from this life and other lifetimes.
So you were on the ship. Were they upgrading you, or what was the purpose behind that,
They were
visit?
huge upgrades.
Okay. Okay.
And actually, you know, my soul really, part of me left and went back to my soul, and a new upgraded part of me stepped in, came in.
Mm. Is that would you call that a walk-in, that phenomenon, or is
It could be referred to as a walk-in, but it was me as a walk-in. Like some people have experiences, other souls
of
stepping
another
in, but
soul?
this was a part of my soul, but my handwriting changed. Um, and the bank called me and said, Your signature looks suspicious." And I'm going like, "It's okay. It's okay."
What was the function behind so for people maybe listening that don't know, like, we're not our full, perhaps, soul in the body, we're a part of it. But what was the purpose of getting like a new aspect of yourself, invited into you? Was it for it something fresh, something new, like new life force energy? What was that?
Well, I guess we could say it was a huge upgrade
Okay.
because for me to continue my mission, that
Mm,
upgrade was very important. And these experiences allowed me to expand in a major way. I mean, I have these things going on anyway, but I was watching crystals move around my house. I would put one on a table, and a minute later, it would be under my bed. I had all these. I enjoyed them all. I was, just it's just been the way my life has been.
you mean the experiences aren't scary to you, that type of
Right.
thing?
They weren't scary to me at all. And when they had taken me on the ship, they wanted me to know that they had taken my body, because one can go there astrally as well, but they would take my body. And um, often too is when I came back after being on the mothership, my pillowcase, a pillowcase was folded into a perfect square, and my pillow was at the other end of the bed. And there's no way that would happen with just me. And that was their way of saying, "We took you physically. We want you to know we were here. We were really here."
Mm. It's just like you're a validation for you.
It was. And because going between the mothership, this went off and on for 2 weeks.
Mm,
So going off and on the ships, there's no time. There's no time. So going between no time and coming back here in a time, it was very confusing. And I was just like, I didn't even know what day it was.
mm.
And it took me about a year to integrate all of this because I was in and out of so many dimensions that um, I had to keep grounding and everything I was experiencing. I was also writing about on the computer, and I knew that they wanted me to share my experiences as part of my mission.
Yeah. Okay. And
So,
all right. And you had talked about the crystals moving. Was that part of your healing? Like part of that energy shifting around as they were moving around for you over that year?
it really could have been. It was just crazy. They were just moving around, and just the energy of it all. And so and yeah, this was ongoing. And at the end, at the end, my experiences went on for a while, but after 2 weeks, my friend she would call me to make sure I was okay.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to have her because she validated so many things for me with my experiences and photos we took. I mean,
Yeah.
that were amazing. And the cameras would just work on their own when we weren't even touching them.
Mhm.
So it it was a real gift to me,
Yeah.
and it helped me understand things more deeply. This was my soul. I had asked before all this happened, "Hey, I want to know my whole story." Well, be careful what you ask for, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that.
So, but it's just amazing experiences. But she called me, when I was getting a little more grounded and in my body. And I said to her, "Man, that was a crazy 3 days." And she got really quiet and she goes, "Jacqueline, it's been over 2 weeks." And I had no idea because of the going between no time
Yeah.
back here and going out again and back and out.
Yeah, it's a common experience with experiencers, right? Like, just losing time like that.
Yeah, so, um, but it was, yeah, and so the mothership was an amazing experience. I got to do healing work on others on the mothership and shapeshift into my other forms, which a lot of people do, on ships.
Yeah, I in your book, you talk about that, just, different we can appear maybe scary to some people, but
Yeah.
there's an
Yes.
uneasiness with how we show up, and so the ability to morph into something more pleasant or appealing to somebody is a real gift, I suppose.
Yeah, I had that one experience with one being when I went on to the mothership who stood there and was looking at me, kinda looked like a warthog or and, he was, like, kinda sniffing around me and, you know, and I was in my human form. And when I looked at his heart, when I looked at him, then I could remember him from another lifetime. And then he remembered me, and then I shapeshifted into another form, another so, there's all kinds of star beings in the universe, and
Yeah, I mean, there's probably far more than, I mean, I feel like I know a lot, but there's so many more than we probably realize.
absolutely, we could never know them all. We could never know them all, and so, um, what yeah, these experiences, and that's why I chose to write about them, to share with others, and
Yeah. Well, it looks like you have a mantis next to you. Is that a statue? Mm.
oh, this mantis?
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't he's wonderful. Yes, that's a sculpture of a mantis being.
Hey, well, one of the uh, questions we kind of talked about, and I just had Tony Ghazi on a couple weeks ago, who channels Mantis Beings, but he brought you up, and then we both realized that we knew you, which is it was really interesting in the podcast
What?
because you're one of the few. I mean, there's I mean, from what I understand, a handful of people that have had experiences with Mantis Beings that I know about anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I think a lot of people have experiences with, the Zetas, the Greys, the Arcturians, and a lot of people are afraid of the mantis, and so that doesn't they don't really invite them in because they're scared by the way they look also. And so in the work I do with um talking with people about their experiences or star orange star origins, and some of them are mantis.
Yeah.
I explain to them that they're not bugs, they're not insects, that the mantis beings, they created the praying mantises here on Earth.
Hmm.
And so they can look through the praying mantis's eyes here on Earth to kind of monitor the environment because they care about Earth. And
Yeah.
so, but this is just how they appear. So, we, humans would label them as insects or bugs, but that's just a human thing. They're not insects or bugs, or they're one of the most ancient races there are.
Yeah, how do you describe them to people that don't know?
They're highly evolved, and they love unconditionally. The mantis beings I've connected with, I communicate with 7 or 8 different kinds of mantis beings,
Okay.
and they've all been loving. They're amazing healers. They have third eye lasers that they use for healing. I've experienced that firsthand. They're amazing healers. What I love about them also is they're childlike, but not childish. They love to play. And so, but one morning they woke me up. I opened my eyes and there were 7 mantis beings standing around me.
Yeah.
And they said, "Get up and dance with us." And I'm like, "No, it's winter. I'm not getting up for that." Go, "Come on." They were like little kids. So I finally got up and started dancing with them. There is a mantis dance and a mantis bow, and it's their culture. So my neck snapped and they had aligned my entire spinal column.
So this was a healing dance.
It was a healing dance. And it was just amazing. And the mantis beings, they can appear scary to people, but if you look into their hearts, they love unconditionally. They are heart-centered, and they care deeply about the
Mhm.
Earth. And initially, um, I had a council of 7 mantis elders come to me. So I communicate with them. The mantis originally come from what I call the dreamers, or the sound, um, the sound light beings. So the mantis are very ancient, and there were
Mhm.
this council of 7 different mantis beings, and from there, those mantis beings started creating other mantis beings. So
Okay.
they exist in all kinds of dimensions. They exist in the Orion's umbrero, um, Octur yeah, well, maybe Arcturus, but in a lot of different dimensions. They don't, like, live on a planet or star. They're interdimensional.
So are they part of your guides now or yeah.
Yeah, I consider them, for all of us, we have guidance teams. We all have been star beings in other lifetimes. So some of our guidance team are star beings from other lifetimes, and that who are here to support us. I um I have a lot of mantis beings and who are around, and
Yeah.
they will bring messages, and like they came to me and said, "Hey," they didn't say hey to me, but that right now everything is so highly accelerated with Earth, to be paying attention to that, to stay really grounded
Mm.
and aligned, and to um, be open to these opportunities of light coming in, opening our DNA and shifting us, and really letting go of the old.
Yeah, there was part of your book it talked about the energy coming in, I believe through a comet, but just in talking about this message of hope, but giving humanity the opportunity to evolve beyond war, greed, and hate, and
Yeah.
sort of how this acceleration is happening, where there's a merging of the masculine and the feminine into better balance and harmony.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. And the mantis, um, they work with sound and frequency. So all the grids are shifting around Earth. And Earth is a being, and she is helping to create these new grids as well as a number of other star beings. So all the grids are shifting in a good way, a positive way. And
Yeah.
and the mantis really work with sound and frequency. They help to create the cosmic grids. Think about that one.
It's hard to wrap your mind. I mean, like, talk about advanced beings and just constructing the universe in a way for
Yeah, exactly. They're master geneticists. And
yeah,
they, um, yeah, to think about that creating all the grids. And there's cosmoses. There's more than one cosmos. So and they're involved with all of it.
well, I'm grateful that they helped connect us. What would you like to offer a light language activation?
Sure. Sure, it would be. Okay. Alaka urukura karasita naha nana kodokore tanaha irsiyo nokore tanahala usukuru kura karakara. And everybody could just close your eyes. Just allow your chakra system to be open to receive anana karat lalakura urukura kuro kasita ushukuru kuro karaka anakatukotoko anahala. Mukura kare itanza ulo tana ulo makare ki anata ushula kare ki makaraka usukuro karakara umaka itana anakali andaso yatanana ko anaheyata ushukuro, and just take a deep breath, allowing all this continue to integrate sakara umana kuro kuro katatita Ushapa koa la cara iteresita nanaha. Awa ukure kitera wala la haya. Makataresita unokuro kuro karaka. Washukuru ranahala. Zakura la anma karekita. Usukuro kurakara. Usukuro kara iyanatala. Mahala, and just take another deep breath. Okay. Just feel your heart opening. Umakara korokuta, shuanahala, shuanahala, shuahanala, wilo korokorakriya, musukuru kakaya, musuga makara away, kakara nahala, tukuro kararita nanakara, I emma I o onala, kultura karieta, shokora karapiki. Masokola katia, Germana, Humaka dihayata, Wasukura kanalakara, Manakata katia kakarakata, so Yanta karakara kariki, Makarakisita, Ushakariki, Bawasa, Wawanse, Ini kakalaf kahanafanta, Ula pakale hisita nanafaya. Ufakarikilia katokura kara, masukuruku, iyama kara karayata, usukuru kurikarilita, and just take a deep breath. Just allowing all of this to flow through you, through your blueprint, through your cells, through your aura, sukorananaha, or shu, just receiving makakasukuru kura karatea, lokura tanathan, musukala kie. Wala karakari itana atasuwa. Ilater na mahata. Usaka. Usukuru. Unata. Umaha. Wala kuro kuro uta oa anana. Hamakarate. Umaha uaha. Wata.
Mm, thank you very much. That was beautiful.
Thank you. That the mantis click.
Hmm.
And they were here through a part of this transmission, as well as the tall white Zeta Masters.
Mm.
And also, there were some other beings, Arcturians stepped in also. So this was to help everyone to open their hearts, which is always the most important thing. And the message they always give me is the star beings have given me for many years is for us to live from our hearts
Yeah.
and to remember we're all one.
Well, that is certainly a beautiful message. And, I think for people that might be new to this, on my channel, that there's nothing to fear. If you can ground yourself and be in your heart, some of these things might sound fantastic, but there's really nothing to fear, that we're all connected and there's a unity to all of this.
Yes, the light language in this transmission comes from unconditional love,
Mm.
from the star being.
Is there a way to like listen to this? Is there, to go
If people
back? Is there?
Yes, if people go back and listen to this, it will help support them.
Mhm.
And also at my website, there are a number of some free downloads of light language, and also on YouTube. I just put out a new YouTube for the solstice and the new year. There's a light language transmission there that people can listen to over and over to support them.
Yeah, and you have a number of meditations and light language on your website too that I have enjoyed listening to, that are available
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, that's great.
And
Yeah.
also the art too.
Yeah, thank you. All that comes through me from the star beings. And so they are codes that people can use for all kinds of purposes, which I've written about for each code for healing or for getting focused on purpose, for integrating different aspects of ourselves. So there's all kinds of things, and also I didn't want to forget this to just show my book.
I
Maybe you
love it.
we have it. Thank you. And I offer all kinds of services, star being services in terms of helping people get connected to their star origin or to process their experiences. I'm a certified hypnotherapist.
Yeah.
So they have experience with working with experiencers,
Mhm.
and also webinars that people can check out and purchase there on the hybridization program in the Mantis. And
Yeah.
so there's lots of things there if people want to go to my website at www.jacquelinsmith.com.
Yeah. It's wonderful and you have a lot there. I did want to read this passage from Barbara Lamb about your book,
Ah,
just because I thought it was really beautiful and it would be helpful to share. Barbara Lamb is, in my world, a very famous therapist in the Los Angeles area. Um, and you could probably share more about kind of some of her accomplishments, but what she wrote of your book, she says that this book is a lovely gift to humanity. It opens our eyes and expands our awareness of cosmic reality. Jacqueline shares her loving relationships with the star beings, whose genetics she carries, and the heartwarming experiences she's had with them. Through her delightful journey of being an ET human hybrid, we can appreciate how she is serving an important mission on Earth and helping to raise the consciousness of humanity. Barbara Lamb. So I thought that was really a
yeah,
beautiful
thank
thing.
you. Yeah, Barbara is a very um, dear person,
Mm.
very dear person.
Well, so are you, and you are also we didn't really talk about it, but in animal communication, you have a book on communicating with animals and that sacred connection as
Yeah.
well.
I have 2 books. One is Animal Communication, Our Sacred Connection, which teaches people communicate with animals. And then I wrote Star Origins and Wisdom of Animals. So they come and shared with me where they are truly from. And they just give tons of information, why they partner with humanity, where they come from, what they look like really. And it's just um I loved writing that book. I had so many experiences while I wrote that book. I just felt like I was in a room of light all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's such a wonderful gift that you have and that you can help people and animals because that's such an interesting relationship. And, I'm sure we could talk a lot more about that. But just that you have insights into that world, that I know people that have, found that service very helpful. And it's just meaningful to be able to share, how to help with that relationship with people and their animals and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I would like to share that in communicating with the star beings and that they have other species on their planets, like plant-like beings or I call them animal-like being. But what they have shared with me is that they are viewed as equal beings, not as quote how humans think of them as animals or less intelligent and all that. They are all viewed as equal being and it's
Yeah.
yeah.
I believe I've heard you talk about, there's highly evolved souls
Oh, definitely.
in animal form as well.
Definitely. I have met very highly evolved beings like in cat form, horse form, dog. I mean, I've had the opportunity to communicate with all kinds of animals in Africa, South America, and in America as well. So it's an incredible journey. It's
Yeah.
an incredible journey.
Well, I know that I have really enjoyed my time talking to you today and also working with you and from other people that I know that have worked with you, they highly recommend you and the services that you offer. So I will put your website and offerings in the show notes as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, this has really been fun.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. It's an absolute pleasure. Ever since I've learned about you and the work that you do. So thank you so much.
Oh,
Uh,
you.
we invite you to continue your journey of mindfulness and the universe and these topics that Jacquelin Smith has talked about today by exploring the resources mentioned in the episode and sharing your own experiences with us. Thank you for listening, and may your path be filled with hope, love, peace, and purpose.
Thank you
Thank
so much for tuning in today and being with us. May you find joy, flow, and adventure on your journey. And if you got something from it, please like, share, and subscribe and or comment. It means a lot. Thank you.